Hi, Lydia Waheto from Short by Alama. Today we're going to be having a discussion with Jason from Carpockets, and he'll let us know a bit more about the e-commerce business and how he goes about shooting e-commerce images with his photographer and developing content for their business. Carpockets deals with car accessory products, and they have been in business since 2020. So let's get started. He'll tell us more about it. Hi, Jason. Thank you for joining me. So I just wanted to know more about you, more about Carpockets and what you guys do. Essentially, we also want to find out a bit more about the e-commerce space and how you approach your photography, how you approach your content creation, so that we can share with other people, with other entrepreneurs who are looking to get into e-commerce. So maybe just tell us a bit more about Carpockets, who you are, then Carpockets, when it started, what you've been doing, and how it has been so far.
Thank you for inviting me. Jason Barry is my name. My background is in marketing, insurance. Yes, marketing and insurance. I used to work for an insurance firm back in the day, 2013, 2014. Then I ventured into entrepreneurship. I started a company called Jabbar Creative Studios that purely specialized with design and print. Then a few, like 2-3 years later, joined up with a few guys, started a digital agency called Capo Digital in 2017. And then 2020, at the height of COVID, is when I joined the e-commerce space. So I would say it's called a bornpreneur. I think I was born to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So I've done it all. I've done it all. My first business was actually baking cupcakes when I was 14 years old. That's how I bought the first phone. So I'm a bornpreneur. I've been in business for, I think since I was born. I think it's a bag I picked from my mom, who's in business as well. Yeah, so in a nutshell, that is who I am.
Okay.
But as I said, I think this discussion is centered on e-commerce.
Yeah.
And specifically now, I'll talk about my outfit, which is called Carpockets, which we started from, I don't know whether it's a series of businesses that brought my partner and I to start the e-commerce space. It's a combination of many things. I wouldn't say there was a very clear formula around it. But yes, at the height of COVID, I think like most businesses, we struggled with getting business. So I had a lot of time to just sit around and think about many things. Then just one day, I realized, I think I was renewing my insurance, and then I realized I'm struggling with sticking this thing. Where do I place this thing? Where do I place this? How do I place this sticker? Because at that point, you don't touch papers. At that time, COVID was so bad that even a flyer, ukipatiwa kaflyer huko nje, you don't touch it. So I was like, what? Yeah. So what do I do? So yeah, an idea came to mind. Maybe there's a space there to figure out how to sort out that problem. Because I noticed, and then I walked around town, walked around a few parkings, and I saw quite a number of cars have 5 stickers because they don't remove the old one, because they don't have, it was a dirty windscreen, and most people are putting it on the dashboard. So I was like, yeah, let me try this. And to be honest, e-commerce was not the goal. E-commerce was not the plan. But I had heard of e-commerce. As I said, my background in marketing, we had interacted with a few clients who we had developed e-commerce websites for them, but I didn't know how to run an e-commerce business. So I think immediately we started, the plan was to sell to corporate companies, but I approached so many. I think out of 20 insurance companies, none responded to my emails. None responded to... Yes, initially.
Okay.
I went for demos. even before we made a prototype, I have this idea. Would you guys want to buy these things? But nobody was interested. Nobody. I even made a few samples, but nothing came out of it.
Yeah.
And then again, due to COVID, cash was a problem. So we could not. I sourced for quotations for e-commerce websites, and I realized similar to what the feedback we used to get for the businesses we used to quote for.
Yeah.
I could not afford developing an e-commerce website via developer and also maintaining it, because I knew it's a business that was going to need changes here and there. So yeah, we ended up in discovering Shopify. Yeah, and now it's 2 years in, and so far I'm happy about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Eventually, I'm guessing you got the insurance companies later on.
Yeah, later on they came knocking after, because after they declined, we were like, let's just try and go to market. We see whether people are going to buy the. At that time, they were not even called Carpockets. Even the name was just we threw different ideas for different names. Yeah. We applied for like 5 different names. That was the one that got approved. So I would say there was a method to the madness, but ultimately it worked out. Yeah. And we actually got our first order when we were testing the website. We had not even launched it. We were testing to see whether the website would work. And then behold, there was an order. And then we had not mapped out quite a number of things. So the first one we gave out for free. Okay. So we still know who our first customer is. Okay. Yes.
So how did they know about it? This person who ordered the
coincidentally, he had an issue where he was going to place the sticker, and he told me he used to live in, is it London? He was I think he worked abroad, and he had interacted with something that would hold the insurance, I think in London or somewhere. Okay. So he was just searching for an insurance holder. Coincidentally, I think the keywords we had set up on the website is what made him discover us, because he just searched on the website. He discovered there's somebody selling these things, placed an order.
Okay.
And yeah, so it was also, that was just right place, right time.
Yeah. Okay, that's a very interesting story. So how, now that you have interacted with different sets of businesses, how different is e-commerce from a brick and mortar store, from the cupcake business you had when you were 14 to now? What's the difference having this kind of businesses?
I would say both businesses are they're very different. With what I know now, having a brick and mortar and having an e-commerce business, I would say if I was to choose one, I would still choose an e-commerce business, because one is led by data. Because you can either start a brick and mortar business and venture into e-commerce. I've seen quite a number of businesses try that, but they struggle because you don't have a clear, for example, if you open a shop in CBD, you interact with so many customers, but you don't know where they come from. So you think that CBD is where your customers exist.
Yeah.
But so you open maybe another branch there, another shop there, and then it collapses. The beauty about e-commerce is there's so much data that the chance of a mistake is lower. So if, for example, you have $500 a month or $1,000 a month, you can be able to tell they come from Nairobi specifically. Now, because, for example, I'm going to make a delivery in Westlands or Parklands, I will know out of the $100 in a day, 30 come from Parklands, 20 come from Westlands, like that. So one is very data driven. So most people would think that it is important, because now the business grew into more of a car accessory business. Most people would assume that opening a shop in town would be ideal. But you see, if you see from 100 of your orders that 20 are coming from Ngara, it would make more sense to open the business there. And you have a lot of data in terms of where they come from, the place that they first saw the business, their behaviors on the website, what they like, what they don't like. You can be able to, so you have a lot of data, because when you have a brick and mortar, nobody wants to give you data. You can't walk to a shop, a kiosk or a shop in town, and then they ask you for your name, email address, your phone number. You'll be like, why do you need all this information? So in the long run, it is easier to start from a digital space, because it's heavy in data than brick and mortar. That would be the main difference, I would say, in terms of, and also understanding your audience. Because if your audience is not a tech-savvy audience, an e-commerce business would not suffice. But if you understand your audience and it's tech-savvy, it's on a digital space, then it would be ideal to start with e-commerce. So it depends. There are factors to consider on which business you want to start. And also something like, example is location. I can tell you for sure, any business that is operating in this country that has an online platform, I'm sure 90+ of their orders come from Nairobi. So also e-commerce works well in a tech-savvy environment.
Okay. Do you think eventually you'd want to do both, or you'd like to continue sticking to e-commerce fully, or you'd want to transition to a brick and mortar business at some point?
At some point, for sure. As I said, knowing the kind of environment we are in and the kind of penetration we have in terms of people who can buy things online, having a brick and mortar shop is ideal. Because the beauty about having both, when you have an e-commerce business, you can be able to remarket your audience pretty easy when you have a brick and mortar shop. If you've bought from us from an online store and then we tell you we have a shop now in a place near where you stay, it will be very easy for you to visit us. So it will be cheaper. For the lifetime value of a client, it will be cheaper to make more money from one particular client when you have a brick and mortar store. And also, I read a book called One Page Marketing Plan, that never leave money at the table. So I already understand that not everyone is in e-commerce. I understand if our demographic is between 24 and maybe 35. So there's a bigger chunk of car owners who are 35 to maybe 60+, who maybe live next to for example, if it's Kilimani and there's maybe a supermarket around there, you can be able to catch them at where they usually shop. So brick and mortar is in Kenya, it's eventually for us, it's a must.
Okay, that's interesting to hear. So I know for an e-commerce business, e-commerce photography is a very important aspect, because this person is basically buying the image before they get the product. So maybe you can tell us a bit more. A lot of people may be new to e-commerce, so they don't know, first of all, how to approach a photographer that they can work with. The second thing is, what do you look out for? What's important for you when you're getting an e-commerce image?
So I think the first thing I would say is, there's a statement we say at Carpockets that all our customers believe that we are dogs and dogs bite, and they've been bitten before. And that comes from when we started, everyone, this issue of I've been conned before, or this is not what I saw, is not what I got, or what you're selling on your website is not exactly what I received, becomes a reality when you start an e-commerce business. You realize when we started, we didn't have, we didn't know that photography is very, very important, because you might be having a certain item that when it's folded, it looks like this. When it's unfolded, it looks different. So that is something that affected us really when we started, because we didn't know that what people see on your website has to reflect what they receive on the buyer's end. So if I buy a key holder, I can't make a key holder look a certain way, and then when they receive it, the key holder looks different. So I would say photography it's a must. You know, e-commerce is like, it's like dating. If you present yourself behind the screen as this person, and then when you meet, you look different, then there'll be trust issues.
Yeah.
There'll be trust issues. So good images are very, very important, and you need to understand where you're placing the images. Because if you need, for example, images that you'll be used on the website, you need to know you need images that are on a white background.
Yeah.
So that the image is not too busy. It's very easy for somebody to know exactly what they're buying, and they're not being confused by anything else around the environment.
Yeah.
If you're using the image for social media, you need to understand, you need to contextualize the image. So instead of maybe an image in white, it can be a key holder that is styled a certain way. It can be somebody holding the key holder. Yeah. So you need to understand where you're going to use the image before you even, the business needs to understand its goals first before they engage a photographer. So yeah, for an e-commerce business, imagery is everything.
Yeah. So how did you sort out that problem? When you encountered a problem with the clients who they saw something else on the website, and what they received, they thought this looked different from what they received. How did you resolve that?
Initially, when we encountered a few of those challenges, first was, now you need to, because I said, we need to catch a client, so that now the customer's life cycle is what, for example, if you walk to Java right now and buy a cup of coffee, they've not earned their money from the billboard they did on Kiambu Road.
Yeah.
So the goal for them is to always make money from Lydia for a very long time. So basically now what we did is, first is to acknowledge it. You acknowledge that there was an error. You apologize for it. Then you give them the option for a replacement or a refund. Now that sorts out the customer side. And on this other side now, if the problem is the image does not reflect what the client is receiving, now is understanding the kind of images that would represent our products the best. And then now getting a photographer to now, you commission now their photo shoots to get the correct images to represent your product the best. So that's how we were able to sort it out.
Okay. For someone who's particularly new to e-commerce photography, or they've been doing it, but they're not quite sure about how they've been doing it, whether it makes sense for them, what are some of the things that you should tick when you're getting images for e-commerce photos? What are some of the core things that you look out for when you're getting e-commerce images for your shop, for your store, your social media?
I think first is to ask yourself, because we all buy things in this, either Instagram or an e-commerce business. It's first, I think, understanding what images made you buy. So you go to the pages that already are in line with the product you're selling, or the pages that you frequently buy from. And then you ask yourself, what do you like about this page or this image? You might find, I like this image because this image made me buy because the product is centered properly, or the product is well represented, or the accessories that make it easy to use this product are well laid out. So I think a layman way would be that, first asking yourself, what do you prefer? Then on the technical side is now, as I said, either if you're going to use the image on social media, on your website, first understanding what are the irreducible minimums. Like, for example, on Instagram, maybe they want a 1080 by 1080 image. So you will know my images will have to be 1080 they have to be square. Or they will, if you want to use them, if you want to create a video that is a reel, you will know the images need to be portrait. So first is, so now you ask yourself, the platform that I want to place this image, what are the reducible minimums? So this is, these are the sizes, these are the resolution that they want.
Yeah.
Then now you go into the things that you like. As I said, everybody has a different preference. Every brand has a different preference. So you ask yourself, well, how do I want to portray my brand?
Yeah.
If it's a styled image that will be used on social media, if it's a candle, I just want a candle with a lighter, so that we highlight the candle only. If it's a key holder or a necklace that will be on an e-commerce website, you just know I need. If the so you create contrasts with the various images, and if it's on the website, you know I just want it on a white surface. So maybe when it's unchained, when it's somebody holding on, like you ask yourself, what would make me buy? Because everybody who buys is like you.
Yeah. You are the consumer. You're also the consumer.
Yeah, you're the consumer.
Yeah,
because you find most people don't think that you end up thinking as a business, not a person.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you will still walk out and go to the supermarket and buy something because either it was marketed to you in a different way, or you saw a billboard that says mchele shikani, or you're still the consumer.
Yeah.
So
the other thing is, we also notice that you use a lot of, you combine not only photography, you also combine video to market your products, or to give out more details about your product. So how do you decide which products you will push via video? I know for the e-commerce photos, I know almost all the products you'll need to have photos, because you need them on the shop, on your website shop. So how do you decide when you're doing video, which products you'll shoot video for, and how you go about it?
So I'll try not to get too technical, but as I said, the beauty about e-commerce, there is, so one, there is intuition, and then there is data. Intuition is, as I said, I'm the consumer. So intuition, there are products that immediately you see it, you know, we call them winning products. You know, this product, I've since I would buy it, or I've seen many people have this problem. Your intuition tells you that people will buy this product. So that is purely intuition. Some is purely intuition, and the other one is now the data side. So what usually happens is, by the time you see a video online, the product has been available for a while, say a month, 2 months. So we've seen the buying cycles. We've seen people are buying, because now it will tell you every day this product is viewed the most. This particular product was added to cart the most. This product people asked about, called about, and a lot of people referred other people because of this particular product. So that informs that this particular product can be able now to, is worthy of us doing a video. Then now the agents that does our videos, we created a formula for us to be able to, if you look at all our videos, they are all very consistent in terms of how we tell the story. So we came up with a system of how we will always do our videos, because if it works, you don't need to fix it. The first time we did a certain video, it worked, so we don't need to fix it. So once we decide that this particular product should be we should develop a video for it, now we have a system of identifying what the problem is, introducing the product, showcasing the product in different settings, and then now a call to action. Then even before we do the video itself, you need to have figured out the cost you're going to do. It has to be a product, because of as I said, the lifetime value. There's a lifetime value of a client. There's the lifetime value of a product. If, for example, you have 100 units or 50 units of a certain product, you already know these 100 units, this particular inventory will not even cater to the cost of this particular product. But the lifetime value of this product, if you're able to sell 100 units every 3 months, the lifetime value of this product, because you won't have to do any other video. So it becomes like a catch-all strategy, whereby this particular video creates awareness about the product, creates awareness about your brand. Then in the long run, you'll get your money back, similar to the example that I gave for Java. And then the beauty about it starts the funnel for conversions, because when somebody sees the video, they'll come to the website, they're like, oh, you guys also have this, you guys have this. Then ultimately it helps you increase your average order value over time. So as I said, there's part intuition, and then there is part data, because data now with the beauty about difference between e-commerce and brick and mortar is that we know even how many people search that product on the web. You can tell the searches, the views, you can tell everything that happens on the digital side of the business.
I think that's a very interesting perspective that you've mentioned, where one video can lead even to more purchases. It's just like one video for a particular product is like a gateway to the client coming to see more products that you offer. That's a very interesting perspective.
Because with e-commerce, so as I said, I'll try not to get too complex. So once you understand your conversion rate, say for example, your conversion rate is 10%. So it means out of 100 people, you convert 10. What happens is those 10 will buy that product. But you see, 100 people came into the funnel. So now the marketing bit is these 100 people who came because of this product. They didn't buy because of various things. They can be remarketed to buy other products. So the goal is always having traffic. Like traffic is everything, because you'll have a lot of data to plan ahead for various things.
So any challenges you've encountered while engaging a photographer or a videographer while producing content? Any challenges or pitfalls other people could avoid that you've learned along the way?
I think usually it starts with the business owner. There is you are the vision carrier. You're the one who understands what you want. The mistakes that we have encountered before is not briefing the photographer well in terms of what we want to achieve. Because if you're dealing with a well-experienced photographer and who understands their craft well, it is subject to the data you give. So sometimes, mostly, why I need this photo, where it's going to be placed. So you might find you briefed a photographer, but you didn't tell them our photos need to be portrait, because now you want to do a campaign whereby images have to be portrait. So you realize you did a photo shoot that now you wasted money on because you can't use it properly. So by the time you engage a photographer, a videographer, it is the business responsibility to understand what they want and to draw the vision and the picture very clear for the photographer or the videographer, because that's where all the problems start. Because if I tell you, because you find a common thing that I've encountered, you'll find somebody wants a video and they tell you, I want a video for Instagram and they want the video on YouTube. But you see, the problem is those two platforms have very different aspect ratios. Or I want a video for TikTok and also on YouTube. So you can't have a video for TikTok and at the same time for YouTube. Or you find somebody tells you they want a styled image of a candle with roses and all the likes, but you realize that image now can't be used on an e-commerce platform. Or you even find Google will not publish the image because it can't really identify what the product is. So you find people need to understand the business goals and why exactly you want that photo, so that you don't waste time and resources.
I think that's a very, very good perspective that you shared, because that's missed a lot. I think the other thing would like to know, if as an e-commerce business, e-commerce photography is also evolving. Have you ever heard about 360 photography? If you have, probably what do you know about it? If you don't, is it maybe we could expound a bit on it, and if it's something you'd be interested in future?
As you say, content is everything, and the way this industry is gravitating towards a lot of audiovisual, So a lot of static images, yes, have been used for time immemorial. I've heard of 360 videos, and I've actually seen a few brands internationally use 360 videos.
Yeah.
I've not explored them, but it's definitely something we can be interested in. So long as we know where we're going to place the video itself. Because when I think about 360 videos, I think about reels, I think about TikToks with interesting voiceovers of music. Because you realize people these days people are consuming a lot of content. So I've heard of it, but we've not explored it, but we are open to it. Yes.
Now that you've mentioned TikTok, how do you manage having so many different platforms? I know this is about photography, but I think it may just help an entrepreneur out there. How are you able to keep up with the different spaces? Because there are now different spaces for which you need to create content for.
So are you asking about the content creation bit or managing all the platforms?
I think both, because as we said, different platforms have different aspect ratios. So you'll probably need a portrait video on TikTok and maybe Reels, and probably a wider, if you're on YouTube, a wider landscape video. Same to images. You'll find probably you'll need different aspects for your website and a different aspect for your social media channels. So I know we had covered a bit of that by planning, knowing your goals, and planning for that early enough. But I don't know whether there's anything you could add to that, and also the management bit.
When it comes to now generating content for the various platforms, as I had said, since the beauty about e-commerce, you can tell where most of your traffic is coming from and the content they prefer. So you'll find, like for us, we're on TikTok, we are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So you'll find our images will be primarily on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, but they won't be on TikTok. You'll find there are videos that will be on TikTok and Instagram, but will not be on Facebook and Twitter. I think it comes from first understanding what each platform does. Like, for example, Twitter is a very conversational platform. So you'll find very few brands have a successful video campaign on Twitter. It's very, very difficult unless you're having conversations, stuff like that. Similar to TikTok. TikTok, the content has to be very interesting. It has to have a face behind it. So even if you look at our TikToks, there's a go slow there because we don't have yet a face that we would, because TikTok, people want to see other people advise them on doing things, advise them on how to do various things. So each platform has a different audience, have a different goal. So it's I think it starts with what do you want. Like, for example, if we wanted to do videos, for us, we do videos in portrait because from our analytics, we know 90% of the people who come to our website come from a handset, and a handset is even if you look at even YouTube now, a lot of the videos that were short videos, that's why YouTube introduced YouTube Shorts. Because not everybody these days content is consumed on a phone, and it's a portrait. So you find all our videos will be portrait, so that because we understand now all our traffic comes from not all our traffic comes from mobile phones. That this works, this doesn't work. Like, for example, as we tried YouTube, it doesn't work for us because very few people even watch YouTube videos on their phones. It's either so we realized that won't work for us. So that covers how we select the formats that work for our brand.
Yeah.
When it comes to management,
Yeah.
Considering we are a very small team, we can't have many people managing. No, we can't have one person managing all the platforms. There are too many.
Yeah.
So now there are tools for an e-commerce business to thrive. Tools become the ecosystem of the business. You need to have tools for everything. So now we have a tool that if you chat, that combines everything that we do. The chat on the website, WhatsApp, Instagram, comments, Facebook comments, like it consolidates all of them into one tool so that now it is easy for anybody who logs in can be able to now respond to any query.
Okay.
So tools are everything. That's where I feel even most people go wrong, because you find most of these tools are challenges that they're not free. So you'll find a tool may be 3,000 a month, or it can be even 10,000 a month. But you find in the long run, you will save a lot of time and concentrate on the core functions of the business or what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
I think you've really shared a lot. Like there's so much any person who's about to enter or is already in e-commerce can pick from this conversation. I don't know if you have any additional tips, any just free for all that you could share with entrepreneurs out there. So far, I think the information is something that you've just shared is something that they cannot easily get online. They'll have to pick from many different sources to bring it together, but you've summarized it really well. But in case you have any additional tips you might want to share, this is the time.
No, I'd say the only tip I would share is people should work, as something I say a lot, people should work on the business, not in the business. And what I mean by that, you find most people die with, you have, say for example, you have 10 deliveries. You're there dying, trying to talk to the riders instead of figuring out how do I talk to riders? People need to work on making the business better, not getting stuck on systems that are not working. So, because I find most people get stuck in the, like, for example, you'll find somebody who sells gifts or sells packaged things. Like, for example, you're selling a gift set. So you find people create a gift set that has 5 items. And then now Lydia comes, has bought 5 of the gift sets. So chances are Lydia will never come back. Because somebody is always waiting for people to buy the same products, because you're not working on the business, which means you have to diversify your offering, diversify the things that you're selling, because as I said, the lifetime value of a client should not be stopped by the few products that you have. So you find most people have 3 products, then you're always saying hakuna biashara, and yet you find most of your customers have bought all your things. If you sell one type of cake, most of your customers have eaten that type of cake. So you're always complaining and pushing them, oh, there's a sale, there's an offer. And people are tired of banana cakes, people are tired of X. So people should work on the business, not always in the business.
Okay. I think that's a really good place to conclude our conversation. It's been a really, really interesting. I think there have been a lot of gems dropped through this conversation. It should benefit a lot of people. Maybe you could tell us where, if people want to order your products, maybe a bit about the products that you have and where they can order.
So as I said, Carpockets, we specialize in car accessories, and actually we simplify car accessories. Most people who are car enthusiasts have a guy in Kirinyaga Road, have a guy somewhere, but you find not everybody has a guy. So you want to be the guy for everyone. So now you can we have internal accessories, external accessories. We have quite a number of things that when you log into our website, which is www.carpockets.co.ke, you'll discover there are quite a number of things you've been wanting to get, but you didn't know where to get them. So we are trying to be the place where people buy and to be the reliable partner for anything car accessories. Yes.
So are you still offering e-commerce consultation
Yes,
to
yes,
people?
yes. They can visit my LinkedIn page and DM me there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see how I can assist. I can coach, I can assist people in business to structure their businesses. Yeah, because I've been there. I know the hassles. We still have teething problems, but I feel like there's enough business for everyone. There's enough client base for everyone.
Yeah.
And I have the knowledge and I can share it with whoever is interested in it.
Yeah. That's really nice. Thank you so much for making time for this conversation. It's been really helpful even for me. So I've learned a lot, and I'm sure our audience will also learn a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you as well for the opportunity. We will always share the information that we have. Yeah, and hopefully this will be beneficial to the people who get to listen to it. Yeah, it will definitely be. Sawa. Yes. Thank you.